Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Speaking Wrestling with Elvis Arroyo, and I am Elvis Arroyo, and this is episode 42, and on this episode, we are speaking NXT, AEW. Going to give you guys a preview of TLC and also what to watch and MVPs and floppers of the week. But before we get started, guys, I want to give you guys a quick reminder to head on over to our YouTube page, hit subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram at Speaking Wrestling and on Twitter at Speaking Wrestle. All right, guys. Another wrestling week in the books. SmackDown tonight as we head into TLC this Sunday live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And of course, we're going to give you guys a TLC predictions towards the end of the show. But before we get into that, guys, I did say we're going to talk about Raw and SmackDown, AEW, and NXT. So let's touch up on those really quickly. The Wednesday war between NXT and AEW is heating up. But guys, this week, both shows came in with identical viewerships in the ratings results this week. So what does that really say about the shows? Are both shows doing great? Are fans generating towards both shows? Does it seem like finally both sides can get along, and that is AEW fans and WWE NXT fans? Because I mean, the talent and the boys and the girls in the locker room, I'm sure they love and appreciate what the opportunity that's been given towards them at the moment, and the fact that there's competition for them. Great way to make some money, great way to get your name out there on TV. But for the fans, I mean, it's a continuous war over on Twitter between AEW and NXT. Who's better, who's not? I really don't care. I mean, sometimes I do, I'm going to engage in some trolling because it comes my way as well. But as far as the actual content that is being produced by AEW and NXT this week was really good. I got to say, I think both shows, there's still a differential. You'll still be able to tell them apart. It's still professional wrestling, but really it's about the quality of wrestling that you're getting from both shows. I do think that they are kind of going for a similar style, but still, their own. It's AEW still showcasing their superstars the way they showcase them, and the types of matches and the ways they go about the matches. Obviously, the way the officiating is in AEW is a lot more different than NXT. But NXT also, their product, it's polished, it's well-rounded, it's what we know. NXT it's a brand that's been running for the last few years, and we've grown accustomed to it. We know what type of product they produce. AEW is something fresh and it's new, and obviously the big arena field does give it a little bit of more feeling that they are doing something better and bigger. But again, I gotta say that the quality of wrestling is somewhat the same. It's paced, but again, there's different styles. I mean, when you tune into AEW, there's gonna be more flips, more dives. The commentary sometimes is a little bit iffy there. With JR sometimes not knowing the names of superstars or the wrestling moves in there, and sometimes the three-man booth gets a little clustered in there. And with NXT, like I said, it's a more polished type of product, so you're not going to get a lot of those mishaps that AEW right now is going through. That, albeit they are fairly new, but I mean, fairly new can only go so far now that we are 2 months away. They've already had a pay-per-view, and they're on their way to their second pay-per-view. So we are officially on the path that a successful wrestling company is taking, and one that is, it's not going to show any signs of them slowing down or throwing in the towel anytime soon. So that's good thing for AEW right there. And obviously this week they were live in Garland, Texas. That's the Dallas area there. Hot crowd, very hot crowd. I got to give it to them. When Moxley came out, as he came out to open up the show, man, the place was loud, and that's great. That's what they need on their television. You need to make it feel like the atmosphere at an AEW show is the place to be, and it certainly felt like the place to be. Opening up the show with Jon Moxley coming out, then you have Chris Jericho coming out with the Inner Circle, and giving him, proclamation to join the Inner Circle. Will he join? Who knows? I don't think he will. Obviously he's not going to join, but another ripple in the storyline between Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho, and obviously those two have some history there. So a great opening scene from Jon Moxley. He had like a 13-second match. Good stuff all around. This show was great. The crowd was great. But there's still some mishaps that, still plague AEW, kind of like, second rate if they really want to be considered, a top company, a top professional company. You certainly want folks that have never seen wrestling or, are jaded fans, or they are lapsed fans. or casual fans that are tuning in, for the first time. They're flipping channels and they see AEW and they think, this looks really good. They flip over to NXT and they might get the sense that AEW, like I said, is doing it right. And in a case like this, they are doing it right. But again, there are mishaps with the audio. This week, it was an MJ promo that was shown split screen during Cody's entrance that you didn't really catch the first few seconds of it. That's still a mishap. And then still JR still not calling the moves, not calling all the superstars, being confused as to who they are. And that's another thing. One big mishap that I gotta say from them, and it's not a big one, but it's just one that I really do think that is very critical, and that's when Kip Sabian was coming out. And this is the first time that Kip Sabian actually had a match on TNT. Now there's a lot of people saying, oh, he's been on there and stuff like that, and he's on AEW Dark. I said TNT. This is the first time that a new viewer or someone that just tunes into TNT and watch AEW Dynamite, it's the first time they're ever seeing Kip Sabian. They might not know anything about him, and I thought it was a missed opportunity to inform you who he is, who his history is, what his affiliation with Penelope Cruz is, who is Penelope Cruz, what is their mission statement, what is the correlation between them, where do they come from, does he have any accolades? He's a very good-looking guy. He's got a great physique. He's got a great moveset. You can definitely tell that this guy has got potential there. I definitely see if they ever have a secondary championship, he will be a great holder for that secondary championship. But again, a missed opportunity to introduce Kip Sabian to the world. And that's really what I want. And that's really what you would expect from a show like this, especially when I watch AEW Dynamite, yes, I watch it part as someone who's been watching the wrestling industry for the past 25 years. And, I have to watch it so I can talk about it. But I also watch it with a little bit of a sense of, what is it like if I'm watching this for the first time? What is it like if I tuned into NBA on TNT and saw an advertisement to AEW, saw Jericho, or was just blown away by how cool the graphics and the action look to make me think that, hey, I'm going to tune into that Wednesday. And, hey, they had a game on Tuesday. There was a great promotion through that of AEW on TNT. There's new fans tuning in every single Wednesday to the product. And when you're not giving those fans a good introduction to why they should care or who's this guy, sure, they'll pick it up along the way. But Kip Sabian, like I said, he's somebody who, this is his first time on TV. Who knows if we're going to see him again? He was in a tag team match with Shawn Spears, and it was more kind of like a trial run. Tully Blanchard had said that they're going to try Kip Sabian as a tag team partner for Shawn Spears because Shawn Spears now looks to go after the tag team titles and he needs a viable tag team partner. Tully Blanchard really felt that Kip Sabian was that piece. They took a loss to Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page. It was a great match and a great finish to this. Hangman Page is phenomenal right now. I really doubted him coming into AEW because I did see his last run in Ring of Honor and some of his matches in New Japan. And, from what you see, it's that indie style. Nobody's really telling them that you got to work professional. You got to, you can't go out there and work an indie rate type of match for where you're at. And, Hangman for the first couple months, coming into AEW, even that match with Chris Jericho, I don't believe that was his best performance, but you definitely got to imagine that since a loss like that and being at a pedestal like that, being in the main event of a pay-per-view, the first one of the biggest pay-per-views for the company, it's their anniversary show at All Out, to be put in that spot, potentially be the first ever world champion for a new promotion like that, he was really up there. And I think he really got a taste of what it's like. And for him to now kind of dwindle down and having to work his way back up to get back to another opportunity, he's really showing his guns out there, man. Yeah, and pun intended, because he's a cowboy, and that cowboy shit is what he needs, man. And I'm glad that he's found something that the fans can get behind, because he's a tremendous athlete. There are so many movesets that this guy does that I'm impressed. And yes, like I said, I doubted him before because I thought, a lot of hype, and then a lot of hype because you're, affiliated with the elite, and being the elite. So I knew his notoriety, and I knew the name Adam Page. And when I saw him work, I kind of was like, not so much impressed. But I thought, great look, great physique. Coming to AEW now, he's really showing that he's got it in him. If this guy really wanted to be the future world champion and they're going to harness that, man, that is money right there. And he's an over baby face, and he looks like a baby face. So it looks like he's got something in the works right now with Kenny Omega and Paige in a match. Having a series of matches would be great right now. I know Kenny right now, coming off that Moxley loss, has left him in a spot where he's kind of also got to work his way back up. And Hangman, leaving the Elite and going on his own to prove himself on his own, because he feels that he can do it on his own. And he can. With the promo that he had a few weeks ago with the chicken, with the chicken shit, with the cowboy shit, and then now with the matches that he's been having, he's been picking up wins in tag matches. This guy's impressive, man. So kudos to him and Kenny too. This would be a great opponent for Kenny and Adam. So it works out best. If this leads to the pay-per-view Revolution. Yes, that's right. AEW announced their second pay-per-view since being on TNT, AEW Revolution, and it's going to be live from Chicago once again. Yes, Chicago. If you're in Chicago area and you love some AEW, then you are happy. But if you're an AEW fan, you are fucking pissed that they aren't coming near your city. But hey, look. It's another city. It's a new arena. AEW, obviously, they're building. I think, with this first year, AEW is going to have a lot of backlash. It's going to have a lot of criticism from a lot of people, including myself. Yes, I'm not going to hold back, but that's, the first year. The first year is rough. The first year is a challenge in any occasion. Name it. And, you go past the first year, you'll be set, because you learn along the way the lessons and mistakes that you made along the way. But I don't have a problem with them coming back to Chicago. I mean, I really don't care where they go. It's all about what they're producing on your television screen, because that's all that will matter. Next week, December 18th, one of the biggest dates for both of these brands, NXT and AEW, that is, because they're bringing out their heavy artillery for this show. Yes, it's going to be the final show of 2019. They are taking Christmas Eve off and Christmas Day off, because it does land on a Wednesday. So they are rolling out the big show, and then we'll come into 2020, January 1st, with a brand new edition of AEW and NXT. But December 18th is a date you got to be circulating on your calendar if you are a professional wrestling fan, because this is going to be a night to remember. AEW, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry taking on Chris Jericho, non-title match. Yes, non-title match, even though, yes, it came off as if he was giving him a title shot, but it's a non-title opportunity here. We're also going to have SCU taking on the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Also, the Women's Championship is going to be on the line, and NXT as well is going to have a big show, as it's going to be Finn Balor versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship, and my oh my, Rhea Ripley taking on Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. That should be the match of the night, potentially match of the year. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to TLC. But before we get to TLC, there was some news this week that came out about the Hall of Fame. Yes, the Hall of Fame introductions were introduced this week, and we got two entries, which I'm kind of surprised that it's in December, and I'm also kind of surprised that they announced two. But the fact that they really want to sell this place out, they run these things in arenas now, and they want to get an early start. I don't know if the ticket sales are low or just a sure shot that the thing is going to sell out. They announced that entering into the 2020 WWE Hall of Fame, it's the N.W.O. And this pairing of the N.W.O., it's going to be, of course, the original three: Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and the fourth member, Sean Waltman. Yes, 6 is going to be the fourth member entering this. When I really saw this, I'm happy and thrilled that the NWO is going into the Hall of Fame, and I'm happy that all 4 men are being recognized. But I gotta say, man, you gotta have Eric Bischoff in there. But look, if Eric Bischoff were to be the inductee for the NWO going into the Hall of Fame, I think, all judgment will be set aside, and it all will be well come Hall of Fame time. We'll love to see Eric there. Eric is well deserving of being a Hall of Fame entry himself. So if Eric is not inducting the N.W.O into the Hall of Fame, then I would love for Eric Bischoff to be inducted himself the following year. And the other big name for the Hall of Fame is Big Dave Bautista. Yes, Dave Bautista going into the WWE Hall of Fame next year in Tampa. Man, proud of the guy. The guy deserves it. Both of these entries into the Hall of Fame, well deserving. I look forward to that. Big Dave, man, what a career he's had. And for it to close down like this into the Hall of Fame, he had a big WrestleMania match last year. You know, he's done so well for the business, man. He really loves the business. He always comes back because he wants to contribute. And, you know, he just can't get enough of being in the ring. So, you know, proud of those guys all going into the Hall of Fame next year. All right, guys, and now it's time for What to Watch. This is where I give you guys what to watch. And since this week is a pay-per-view weekend, it's TLC. So go ahead and tune into the WWE Network this Sunday for WWE TLC 2019. And with that being said, guys, let's get into our TLC predictions. All right, and so far, not a lot of matches have been announced. There are some rumored to be announced, but let's get into the ones that are official and the ones that we already know we can look forward to this Sunday at TLC, and that is Bray Wyatt taking on The Miz in a non-title match. This one, you know, really came about last week with Bray Wyatt showing that photo of himself in a picture frame with The Miz's family, and a little creepy. You know, we've got to see Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse version out of the Funhouse and attacking Miz backstage. So, you know, I don't know about this match, but I guess it's going to lead to something, maybe a Daniel Bryan appearance. I don't know yet. I think let's hold the Daniel Bryan off for a while, maybe for New Year's. I think Daniel Bryan, especially since he might be coming back with a haircut as his hair was pulled out several weeks ago. I think you wanna save that for, you know, a big moment, maybe the New Year's or maybe the pay-per-view. But I think this should just be between Miz and Bray, and then settle down the road between Bray and Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin in a TLC match. Yes, a TLC match between Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns for what? Dog food. I don't know. All I know is that it's a TLC match between Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns. Of course, we might find out on Friday Night SmackDown what's going to be hanging over the ring for these two. Rusev and Bobby Lashley in a tables match. Really, a tables match? You know, when this was announced this past week that it's going to be a table match, I was just thinking, really? Really? You mean to tell me since post SummerSlam, we've been building this whole storyline of Bobby Lashley and Lana and Rusev getting divorced with Lana, and this just mess throughout the fall into the winter now, and it's gonna end and be settled by a table match? A table match. I mean, really, a table match. I mean, if they come up with a creative way to make this much more entertaining, or if they just want to go out there and have a brutal table match, go for it, Dudley Boy style, Royal Rumble 2000. But if they do something funny, I mean, because this whole thing has just been one big joke. I mean, if they do a table and maybe it's like a date, maybe it could be a table where all the legal papers are on for the divorce, then I think that would work. But a table match, really? You build this for 3 fucking months. You know, it opens up Raw, it closes the show, it drags on through the show. I mean, and it's gonna end on a table match. This is the way we settle. You know, Rusev's wife leaving him for another man. You know, oh, fine, we're gonna settle this in a table match. Then albeit a fucking table match is the way we settle shit now in 2019, going into 2020, folks. New Day and the Revival for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and the Revival winning a 4-way tag team elimination match last week on SmackDown to get this opportunity here against the New Day, and making it very clear that they are taking it back to the old school, and they are bringing back tag team wrestling, and they are going to have themselves an old-fashioned tag team match. Boy, I hope they get Teddy Long out here for this one. Revival, New Day, once again, look, these two teams are top of their division. Raw and SmackDown, these two teams are great. Revival killing it every single time they go out there. New Day, I mean, they've been killing it the past 5 years in WWE. So these guys can go out there and have a wrestling clinic. I'm gonna go with the Revival on this one, especially with that promo. I think they're really leading on to something now, and I think New Day dropping this, maybe start telling the story of Big E and Kofi, especially with the Royal Rumble coming up, and that's always a great opportunity for maybe teams to break up because they have aspirations to become something more than just a tag team champion. And Kofi, being a former WWE champion, the Royal Rumble would be a great opportunity for him to get back, into that number one opportunity. And what better way than win the Royal Rumble, because it's your one-way ticket to the main event of WrestleMania. And Kofi Kingston will love to go back to main eventing WrestleMania. I mean, he was successful last year. Why wouldn't he be again? And he'd get an opportunity to challenge Brock Lesnar, because if he wins, he can challenge the Raw champion or the SmackDown champion, that being the Universal champion. And I think Kofi Kingston winning the Royal Rumble and then challenging Brock Lesnar to reclaim his WWE championship that he didn't get a fair opportunity, and he did. It was a fair match. No shenanigans there. Just Brock Lesnar being Brock Lesnar. But I think we'd get a better match, and one that fans would love to see, because it's going to be Kofi, Brock at WrestleMania. And, as long as it's not a fucking 10-second match and we go the distance on this one, because I think both guys can go out there and put on a great match. Hell of a story is already written if they want to go with Kofi winning the Royal Rumble. But again, Big E. Don't leave Big E out of this. Big E would love to win the Royal Rumble at this point and go on to challenge Brock Lesnar himself and bring back the title to the New Day. Or maybe he would love to stay over on SmackDown and take over that show and make it the Big E show and challenge Bray Wyatt or whomever the Universal Champion is come WrestleMania time. So interesting things coming along here, especially as we get closer into Royal Rumble season. My favorite time of the year, January, especially it's my birthday month. But I mean, it's really when you really start laying down the foundation as we look forward to the spring and we make our way towards WrestleMania. So I'm always looking forward to a new year, especially this time coming around. Really, we just as long as we get this December pay-per-view out of the way and Raw out of the way, man, we are looking for WrestleMania. Aleister Black taking on Buddy Murphy in a one-on-one match. I'm going to go with Aleister Black on this one, but I think that this might be the show stealer. Also, another TLC match. Kabuki Warriors defending their women's tag team champions against the Raw women's champion Becky Lynch and Charlotte in a TLC match. Not sure if this is the main event, but the fact that the pay-per-view is called TLC and it's a women's match, I would love for this match to go on last. But we might get Baron Roman Reigns closing out TLC with dog food. But the TLC women's tag team match, I'm going to go with the team of Kabuki Warriors. Yes, why wouldn't they lose this opportunity? I just think that they are going to pick up the victory here, and we might just go into another Charlotte, Becky into Royal Rumble just to have a big match into Royal Rumble and then go from there. So that's TLC so far. There's other matches being rumored, maybe Braun and Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ and Randy Orton. I don't care so much if we don't see those matches. Sometimes these pay-per-views, these B-level pay-per-views, not WrestleManias and SummerSlam, sometimes just end up becoming, a glorified house show or glorified Raw on a Sunday evening. All right, guys, and last but not least, before we get on out of here, time for our performers and floppers of the week. This is where I give you guys my MVPs and floppers for the week, and my MVP for the week is the new Cruiserweight champion, Angel Garza. What a match these two had. Him and Lio Rush had a tremendous matchup to open up NXT this week. Angel Garza picking up his first ever WWE title. Congratulations to him. Happy for his success. And I'm going to say this because I say this every single time. Angel Garza is the next Eddie Guerrero. I know Chris Jericho and JR have been praising Sammy Guevara. They even went as far as to say it on TV this week that Sammy Guevara is just like Eddie Guerrero and he has potential to be the next Eddie Guerrero. Come on. And flopper of the week, guys, is the Street Profits for yet once again another horrific segment. And that's going to do it, guys, for another episode of Speaking Wrestling. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for your support. If you want to keep supporting this podcast, head on over to our YouTube page, hit subscribe. You can also follow this podcast on Instagram at Speaking Wrestling and over on Twitter at Speaking Wrestle. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy this weekend's show. We'll see you again next week with episode 43. Bye-bye.